Hey, good evening, everybody. It is the champion principal. Hey, I'm out here on the porch watching a little CNN and listening to my audio books, and I decided to give you a quick message. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on in America right now, and the biggest thing right now is the young man who was killed by a police officer. Yes, gotta be honest, he was killed by the police officer. And the biggest tragedy is no other officer stepped in to intervene at all. And the problem with this is, number one, a human was killed. He was a human. He was a man. He was killed. And everybody just stood around and watched it. He didn't get his court date. He didn't get to go through the appeals process. He was actually killed. And I think we need to be clear about that. The man was actually killed. If it was anybody else, if it was me, if it was you, immediately we would have been arrested. We'd have been arrested. In some cases, we probably would have been shot. You're going to get the death penalty. You're going to do 25 years in prison. We don't tend to get the benefit of the doubt like other people. Now, I got friends with police officers, and guess what? They're great people. And guess what? Police officers I know tend to make the right decisions. That's why I love and respect them. They're not like that guy, that police officer in Minneapolis. They're totally different. That's what I believe in my heart. That's what they've shown me. They wouldn't have done that, and they wouldn't have allowed that. I really believe that. So I'm not going to judge all police officers based on the actions of those police officers right there. Just like I don't want people to judge me based on the action of everybody else. No matter other people are doing things, that don't mean I do it. Just because I do certain things, it does not mean that they do it. But guys, yeah, people are rioting. But if we're more concerned about the riot than we are about the officer killing a man for nothing on TV, there lies the problem. Is rioting wrong? Yes. Rioting shouldn't even be in this conversation. We should have more outrage about what the police officer did. Let me clarify. I am totally against rioting. I am totally against it. I don't believe that it actually works. Now, I do believe that once people are frustrated, at first they are knocking on the door. Next, they're knocking a little harder. When they realize that you don't hear them, oh yeah, they're kicking in the door. And that's what's going on right now. People feel that they're not being heard. African Americans feel that they're not being heard. We feel that we're not being treated fairly. And the problem with it is, yeah, I think some people understand it and some people support it. But I think the biggest problem, my fire getting kind of hot right there, guys. But the biggest thing is that people are quick to say, it's not the way it appears, forget about it, it happened in the past, it's not what you think. That is really what the problem is. There are so many examples where you can clearly see the discrepancies of how one person may be treated versus how the other person may be treated. We need to bring some clarity to this thing. That's why people are kicking down the doors right now. This is their form of protest. Yeah, I get it. People my age, we know. Yeah, they protested years ago. Some cases it worked. Some cases it did not work. But I do agree with diplomacy. Peace is probably the best way. You never will get anything done by burning down cities and burning police cars and all that kind of stuff. We'll never get what we want. What I suggest we do is, number one, first of all, I think that we need to, first of all, I had to get my thoughts right. We need to treat everybody fairly, equally, in the same. And I think all of my white brothers and sisters, I encourage you to continue to have an open mind and talk to your African American friends or people you consider your associates. Ask them how they feel and what their thinking is. And then you have a better understanding. Stop discounting what they say and trying to brush it off like it don't exist. It does exist. That's one thing we're good in America with, is acting like it shouldn't matter now. It does matter. There's still the trauma and how people live with stress. Of course, with poverty and feeling that they're trapped in this hole. I feel that's the issue. But if nobody's listening to them, they're going to be kicking that door in. And we got to stop equating every situation with every situation. These are different situations. Things that are going on in the community, that's what's going on in the community. Things that are going on with the police officers, that's what's going on with the police officers. Things that are going on with the president, That's what's going on with the president. And my viewpoint, those things are separate, they're different, and we have to handle them accordingly. So, man, that fire is getting big, guys. So we have to handle. So as we start to handle these things accordingly, what do you mean by that? We need to deal with one issue at a time. You know, everything is not going to be solved overnight. Police brutality, that's something that we can work on. You know, that goes to hiring practices and things they're doing in Atlanta with the police officers, basically going out mentoring the boys and girls. I just heard the mayor talk about that. Different things like that. Even here in Tuscaloosa, the PALS program, the officers coming to the different schools. That's how you build those relationships with the boys and girls, so they won't be so terrified to have these viewpoints of them. But it still goes back to the point to solve this problem is hiring the right officers, and the officers, we got to have a real conversation. Stop killing people. Stop treating people unfairly. Keep your foot off their neck. They say they can't breathe. Get off of them. Don't go give one person a hamburger and you starve the next person. You know, these are injustices. These are things that are not fair. Treat everybody equal. If a situation requires for you to use deadly force, use your deadly force. But for a person who just bounced a check and he's laying on the ground saying he can't breathe, calling for his mom, that's no reason to continue doing what you were doing. And we as America, we can move past this when everybody admit that type of behavior is wrong. And that's just the bottom line. But rioting is not the way. As I said, I get it. I get it. You're knocking on the door the first time. You're knocking harder the second time. The third time, you're kicking the door in. I get it. But we're not going to solve anything like that. How do you solve things? Riot in the classroom. What do we mean by that? Go get your education. Go get your trade. That's how you riot. Go create and build a business. That's how you riot. Choose where you spend your money. That's how you riot. Don't support certain organizations. Don't support certain people. Don't support certain businesses. That's how you riot. Riot at the polls. Show up at the polls. Vote these people out. These jobs are not lifetime positions. Vote them out. That's how you riot. Hold government officials accountable. If we all decide to pick up the pen right now and flood Washington, D.C., flood Montgomery with phone calls, that's how you riot. That's how we got to bring about change. But the real change, that mighty dollar. Stop giving away your hard-earned money. Choose where you're going to give that money to. Marching and all that, that's the time of the past. That's a method of the past. It's outdated, to be honest with you. Nothing great is going to come from this marching. By burning down police station, by vandalizing CNN, nothing's going to come out of that at all, guys. All you're going to do is have the police officers more angry and treat you wrong. But I get it, though. I get it. Guys, let's stick together as a nation. Let's treat everybody fairly. It's champion principle. Have a good one.